You know, it's difficult to keep up with the number of Trump aides and officials who've been fired or forced out. Many have moved on, several are under indictment, and some of those we think have left haven't really gone anywhere at all. For a look at where they are, it's time for the check-in. Throughout the campaign, President Trump constantly bragged about knowing the best people and then promised to hire those people once he got into the White House.
I know the best people. I know the best managers. I know the best deal makers. I know people that will make us so strong. I know guys that are so good.
I put people in that have great ability. But the cabinet, we're going to have all the best people.
We got the smartest. I know the smartest. I know the best. I know the best negotiators. I know the ones that are overrated. I know the ones you never heard of that are better than all of them. But we're going to use our best people.
You know what I don't think you use? The best thesaurus. You use best so much, you're basically President Kenny Banya.
I told you Mendy's had the best pea soup. The best, Jerry. The best.
And when Trump wasn't bragging about how his people were the best, he was bragging about how awful they were.
I'm going to get these great business leaders. I will get these great business leaders, these great, great people. And I have to say, some of them are not nice people. Do you agree? Who cares, right? Who cares? Some of them you don't want to have dinner with. They're vicious, brutal, horrible human beings. Who cares? Who the hell cares? Some are nice, but some are terrible people.
Really? Really covering your bases there. These people are the best and also the worst. We got geniuses, business giants. Also, we got some murderers. We got people who take their shoes off on airplanes. It's a mixed bag. But I have to give Trump credit here because he did warn us that he was going to hire some vicious, horrible people, and he followed through. And then, as expected, some of those awful people got fired for their awfulness. But they didn't exactly go away. Take former Navy SEAL and surrogate for the Trump campaign, Carl Higbie. Higbie was appointed to be the face of an agency called the Corporation for National and Community Service. His job was to direct the public image and messaging of the federal department that manages millions of Americans in volunteer services like AmeriCorps and Senior Corps. Basically, he was doing PR for people who help people. Super easy job. But less than 6 months into that job, he had to resign after CNN uncovered racist and homophobic comments Higbie had made several years ago. Now, where did he make these comments? Did he make them in a whispered conversation in a crowded bar, a message board full of fellow racists? No, he made them fully on the radio.
I just don't like Muslim people because their ideology sucks.
I'm not okay with the fact that there can be a black college and not a white college.
You cross my border, I will shoot you in the face. Rhode Island, land of more liberals, has just okayed gay marriage. Congratulations. You suck, Rhode Island. You know, I don't like gay people. I just don't. You know, and I talk about it in my book, Battle on the Home Front. If you haven't gotten my book, Battle on the Home Front, get there today and get a copy.
Wow, not sure that's the best way to jack up your book sales. Gays, Muslims, Mexicans in Rhode Island could go to hell. Everyone else, check out my new book. And while you're at it, pick up Carl's other books, Chicken Soup for the Soulless and 50 Shades of Grey. Also, you know you're insane when you go after Rhode Island. Rhode Island's been pulling the wool over our eyes for too long. Face it, you're just Connecticut's foreskin. So after those comments came out, Higbie was fired from his job. So that's the end for him, right? You can't come back from that. Well, not exactly.
A former Navy SEAL and Trump administration staffer who resigned after racist, sexist, homophobic remarks that he had made on the radio were exposed, has now been hired by a pro-Trump group. A pro-Trump group whose leaders Trump had dinner with just last week.
He was fired and then promptly hired by the political super PAC that's working with the president, which sends a message about what they view as tolerable and not tolerable.
So Higbie did something terrible, but instead of getting rid of him, they just moved him to a new job. To put it in Catholic terms, he got moved to another diocese. This is Father Pat. He just moved here from Boston, Akron, and Omaha. Kids, get in the car. And not only was Higbie hired by a pro-Trump group, but he's also still on the board of the Urban Revitalization Coalition, which is run by the National Diversity Coalition, two Trump-aligned diversity groups. So the guy who repeatedly said racist things about black people is still on the board of a group run by the National Diversity Coalition. That's like Charlie Sheen teaching DARE. So remember, kids, if someone offers you drugs, you point them my way. So despite all of his horrible remarks, Higbee's still working for Trump, and he's not the only one. Just a few months after Higbee resigned, Trump's personal aide, 28-year-old John McEntee, was abruptly forced out as well.
A personal aide to President Trump escorted out of the White House under a cloud of controversy.
Johnny McEntee, President Trump's personal assistant, his body man, abruptly forced out of his post and escorted off the White House grounds Monday. NBC News confirming McEntee is under investigation by the Secret Service for serious financial crimes. McEntee's departure strips the president of another of his closest and longest-serving aides.
Side note, buddy, if that's your office, you don't need to put on a tie. That's like driving the bulldozer at a landfill in a top hat and tails. Now, an investigation found that McEntee's gambling habits had posed a security risk, but thanks to President Trump, he was able to bounce back almost immediately.
Johnny McEntee is very much remaining in the president's orbit because just minutes after this news broke of his departure, the Trump campaign announced that they had hired him to work as a senior advisor for those re-election efforts in 2020.
So we got escorted off the White House grounds and into a promotion. That's like getting thrown out of a bar and the bouncer saying, "Get out and stay out and come back tomorrow because you're the manager now." Trump keeps recycling these people and others because he only uses one yardstick to measure employees. Are they loyal to me? And the problem with that is that the kinds of people who are unquestionably loyal to an ignorant bigot like Trump are pretty much always terrible people. There's no pool of thoughtful and qualified candidates for him to draw from because you can't be thoughtful and qualified and also loyal to a president who is neither. So, despite having been fired or having shamefully resigned because of racist comments or straight-up crimes, none of these people have really suffered the consequences you and I probably would have had we made similar mistakes at such a high-profile job, or any job for that matter. If you have an interview at Chipotle and they say, "Why do you want to work here?" and you say, "Well, I got fired from Taco Bell for screaming the N-word," they will not hire you. But I know someone who might. This has been The Check-In.